Welcome in to Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside John Epps. Jerel Hendricks back on the board as always, here for our Weekend of Champions state title preview show. John, hard to believe we're here already, man. It's been a fantastic football season, and boy, do we have 6 big-time games on the docket this week.
Yeah, some really, really good teams facing off in Orangeburg, some incredible talent. Not a ton of surprises, honestly. You know, we were just talking about our preseason picks, and we're pretty on, not because we're geniuses, just we knew who had a lot of talent coming into this year, and a lot of those schools proved it. Certainly
going to be a fun weekend. You know, you get 3 days now, 2 on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday. We'll go through those as we get to it. Make sure we lay that out. We also, John and Jerel and I will be there all weekend long too, checking out these games. If you're there, feel free to say hello to us. Love to meet and greet you guys too. So hopefully we'll catch some new fans and some good people to talk to down there in Orangeburg as well. But as always, guys, follow us here on Facebook, on Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains. That's MOVINCHAINS. MovinChains.com is our website, our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. The TikTok as well, John, blowing up. People love the food reviews on TikTok. Nice. So we got those going on the TikTok there for you guys. So definitely check us out there. Each week throughout the season, we do a live preview show here on Tuesday nights. Obviously, last preview of the season here tonight. We will do a live season recap show next Tuesday. So make sure you tune into that. If you got questions for that, shoot them our way this week. We'll be sure to work on those. We do our recap show. That'll come out on Sunday afternoons as well on the podcast platforms. Great content throughout the week with coach interviews, player interviews, and whatnot. We'll have a lot of great interviews, too, from this weekend. We'll go post it up after those games are concluded there. Get your Moving the Chains merch. Lots of great stuff here just in time for Christmas. Some great Richardson hats, a gray front, a black and gray back one, 2 different options there. A black front up here, as you see as well. We got some great toboggans. There's also a black one here, a gray one for those cold weather games. Maybe a little bit chilly this weekend, John. I don't know. Yeah. So you might want one of those on your head. Got some great T-shirts as well. These make a great Christmas gift here. A black T-shirt, navy blue T-shirt like I'm wearing, a gray one, and a pink one as well for the ladies. Make sure you get that now. We will get it to you in time for Christmas, I promise. And also some hoodies, a gray hoodie and kind of a stone/white ash, whatever you want to call it, hoodie as well. Purchase those today. You can email us mtcgear.sc@gmail.com, or you can message us on Facebook. We'll also have some down in Orangeburg with us as well. If you see us there, if you don't mind hanging around after the game, we'll grab one out of the card and hook you up. But we'd love to have you guys purchase some of our gear, wear it around the state. Love to grow the family here in MTC, man. It's fun getting to have a lot of you guys meet each other, and it's been a lot of fun as well. But you can email mtcgear.sc@gmail.com or message us on Facebook, Twitter, whatever else to get that. But, John, any other thoughts here before we start looking at these 6 title games?
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Jerel, any comments from the chat you want to throw out there before we get going into these? That's okay. There we go. Zach says, here we go. All the marbles. Radio Nation's ready to bring home title number 9. Going to be a great one, Zach. We'll get down here in a minute. Kevin, I appreciate you being in here, man, from Cope SC. I love that. Thank you for joining us. Bradley, hello, my man. We're doing well. Hope you are as well. Going to be a lot of fun as we go through these 6 state title games. Ryan says Northwestern should easily handle Irmo. Okay. And also Dutch Fork over Summerville. He's making 2 big picks there, says Ryan, in the 5A ranks.
That's all we got now. Let's jump into it, guys.
Let's start. Obviously, guys, every game is big this week. So that means every game is a CONA game of the week. Our Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates games of the week. All 6 of them are games of the week this week, John. Let's start with the 1A title game. This is on 7:30 on Thursday night. We have the Abbeville Panthers at 12-1 taking on the Cross Trojans at 12-2. Abbeville, I think we all thought they had a chance to win. I actually picked Louisville last week. I missed that incorrectly there. But Abbeville dominated Louisville 42-18, a big win for the Panthers. They're averaging 50 points per game on offense, 16 per game on defense. Cross, a big win over Lakeview, 36-7, averaging 40 on offense, 7 on defense. John, we've said it all year long, had a number 1 on our poll all year long. That's the Abbeville Panthers there. Do you think Cross can make some noise, can keep this game close, can maybe make it a 4-quarter game and somehow pull off a big win here?
I think they can keep it close. I don't think they're going to win. I was very impressed with Cross beating Lakeview like they did last week. I thought Lakeview had been, arguably one of the hottest teams.
Yeah.
I say one of because Abbeville and Louisville have been playing great. Cross in their own right has been playing great. One of the hottest teams in 1A. They destroyed them. destroyed them. And even in the Abbeville-Louisville game, early on, that game was tight.
I think it was 10-0 Louisville, I believe, out of the gate.
I think in the first half, I want to say at halftime, I don't know that Louisville had the lead, but it was very, very close. And then second half, Abbeville pulled away. I don't know that the Cross Lakeview game was ever close. When I was looking at the scores, it was never really. Lakeview never had the lead from what I'm aware.
I believe they were 7-6. I think that may have been it. Yeah,
it's short lived. Really impressed how Cross played, and they've been playing pretty good defense. Throughout the playoffs here. They've given up. Let's see, blank 6, 7, and then again 7 last week. So they've been playing great D. That helps. Abbeville is just a different animal. I think they proved that against Louisville on Friday, even getting down a little bit in that game. Louisville had some confidence, especially getting up early, getting up on the Panthers quick. But Abbeville, they crushed. They crushed. I think we see a relatively close game here, but I don't know that it's I don't know if it's a game in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Panthers led by quarterback DeMarcus Leach had 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns last week. Carson Norman at running back spot along with Jalewis Haddon. They ran for 307 as a team. Defensively, though, they caused 5 turnovers against that big-time Louisville offense. That was really impressive for me there. Gage Evans, Altavius Patterson's a force. He actually played some running back for the first time last week as well. He's a big-time goal line threat there for the Panthers. Thomas Ferguson, Levi Paul as well in the back end. I will say that they had a few special teams issues, had some issues against Lamar, cleaned it up a little bit last week, looked pretty good there, I thought for sure. Cross, quarterback Tyler Harris had a touchdown last week. Running back Carmelo Jones had a touchdown. He has 1881 rush yards in the season, 31 rushing touchdowns, John, through 14 games there. Also on defense, he got 69 tackles and 17 TFLs. He's all over the field like a lot of these guys are at the 1A level there. Caden Ramsey, the huge target out wide. I think he's a 6'4", 6'5" guy out wide there. 4 catches for 63 yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 picks last week, has 13 on the season there. Also had a fumble recovery and 2 total touchdowns. Defensively, Broughton had 10 tackles, 3 TFLs. Bennett had 8 tackles, 2 TFLs. Joyner, Grant, Polite, and Wigfall, also big time players. You mentioned their defense lately. 7 shutouts in the season. Like, they have gotten it done on that side of the football. They have also had special teams issues in games so far. Actually missed an extra point last week. Did come back to bite them, of course, but going to be a interesting game there. We're 2 teams that, when you get to this point in the season, a small misstep can certainly cost you, and it could be maybe a fumbled punt, snap, or something like that. It could be a big issue here in between these 2 teams.
Yeah, Cross has got to play a perfect game. They can't turn the ball over. They've got to get some takeaways themselves to have a chance in this ball game. Big special teams play. They've got to do everything right to have a chance. But hey, they have earned their right to be here in Orangeburg this week and to have that chance, exactly because we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen at the high school level before. It's certainly possible.
Yeah, and so happy for that, Trojan program. Coach Sean Wright is one of the best in the business, has been kind of knocking on that door, finally get to that state title game this year. Really cool for them. Some stats here on the historical perspective. Abbeville going for their 13th state title. If they win, that moves them to the second most in the state behind Gaffney. Wow. Actually, tie with Summerville. So Summerville wins, they could have 2 move up to 13. We'll see how that shakes out this week. Head coach Jamie Nichols has won a state title in 45% of the seasons he's coached as the head coach.
That's an incredible.
Pretty solid. He's 8 for 20 right now. Wow. Going for number 9 this year, which would put him as third all time in SC behind Willie Varner and John McKissick. Okay. So some great company ever, Coach Nichols. Abbeville and Cross never played before. First time they're getting together. So it'll be a lot of fun to see that matchup there, John. I think, you're leaning Abbeville. I'm leaning Abbeville. I think they've just got too much depth. Like people got to remember, this is a 2A team last year coming into 1A. So they're probably going to have a few more guys than Cross does. Just more depth there. But like you said, anything can happen this time of the season. Cross gets a good break on a fumble kickoff or maybe a big pick, whatever it is. Could certainly, make things happen. But I think Abbeville, too much firepower. DeMarcus Leach is special. Looking forward to seeing him this week. Jerel, who do you like in this matchup? Can you pick against Abbeville? I know it's hard to do it, man. I did last week. I learned my lesson. I'm going with Coach Nichols and the Panthers this week.
Yeah, it's hard. You can't pick against Abbeville, and I'm not going to do that. I mean, those numbers you just rattled off for Coach Nichols and that Abbeville program speaks for itself. I mean, they just get it done. Them coming down to 1A, we did it in our playoff preview I picked one team that could win. Obviously, it was Abbeville, who I thought was going to win the state championship. But so impressed with Cross, like you mentioned, Coach Wright,
Big Cross.
Big Cross, not the little one. Just so impressed with Coach Wright and his bunch. To get to this point, love their defense too. I don't think they're getting enough praise for how well they've played defense throughout the year. And we've shown that Abbeville has shown a propensity at some points for their defense to kind of lay down and them get into some shootouts. Carmelo Jones back there, you never know what can happen. Leaning Abbeville, I think they win this game by like 10 points or so, but it should be a fantastic one.
Abbeville, the 2A state champ just 2 seasons ago, so they're a football powerhouse, as we said through those stats there. But looking forward to a great ball game once again Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. for that 1A matchup. Jerel, what's the chat saying about this 1A title game between the Panthers and the Trojans?
Our guy,
Jackson Barnwell says, "Go Jackson. We will see you Thursday afternoon at the game, man. Looking forward to catching up with you. Warhorses have played great." Tyler says, "What's up, guys? Finishing your week. Everybody in layup lines next week." That's right, man. It's basketball time for everybody, except for a few that get the North-South or Shrine Bowl action there. But definitely hoop season coming up. Chris, good to see you, buddy. Appreciate you joining us as always. JD said Abbeville going for number 13. Let's get it. Yeah, Kev put BTA at Lewis last week. I missed that one, JD. I was completely wrong. Hand up. I missed that one, man. They are rolling right now. Albert said both 5As coming home to Irmo.
That's exciting.
Certainly could. 2 out of the same town, same region. Would be really cool to see. Chris says he owes us an apology. We're right on Gaffney Northwestern game. I mean, I don't blame you, especially Gaffney in the playoffs, Chris. It's hard for anybody to pick against them. I mean, they just a powerhouse, number 1 state titles of all time. Like, it's completely understandable there. Northwestern, just too much firepower last week. It seemed like Gaffney could not get a handle on those guys. Zach said Cross going to play keep away from Abbeville. Yeah, for sure. You can get that run game going with Carmelo Jones there, kind of milk that clock. Probably your best shot, but it's going to be tough for sure for the Trojans.
Tough to score.
Ryan Godfrey says Bill Belichick not going to North Carolina. He's going to come to Gaffney. Hey, don't put it past the Indians, man. They're going to make a big hire. I know that to replace Coach Jones there. Chris says any idea if the games will be on TV like normal? They should be, and we'll look that up during a break here, but I believe they should be on local TV. I want to say it's typically whatever the CW station is, possibly something like that. But I know there's one in Myrtle Beach that carries it, one in Columbia, one in the upstate, so there should be somewhere that'll have it on there, Chris. Tyler says, not who's going to win it, it's what lower state team can prevent the sweep. Certainly could be a upper state heavy weekend, it feels like, down in Orangeburg.
Let's go up to 2A, guys.
Chris, I was going to mention, I know the NFHS website is they're going to have, I looked last week, they're supposed to have every game on there that you can stream as well. I want to say it might be like $20 for the month. So basically paying $20 for all the games. So that wouldn't be a bad option either. But yeah, I think that 57.2 at Fox, I think they carry it too. Just haven't seen anything online about the TV station.
Yeah, I'll look into that during the commercial breaks if I can find that. But if not, I'm sure we can post that once we have more details. But let's look now at our second CONA game of the week, the 2A state title matchup between the Clinton Red Devils at 11-2 and the Barnwell Warhorses at 13-1. This is 2 p.m. on Thursday, the kickoff for the weekend here, John, between these two squads. Clinton continue their big run, 32-21 over Fairfield Central, averaging 41 points on offense, 20 allowed on defense. Barnwell, a big win over Manning, 37-14. This game was 14-all at the half there, John. The Warhorses pull away the second half. They're averaging 30 on offense, 10 allowed on defense. For the Red Devils, quarterback Tashawn Richardson had a big game, 3 for 5, 104 passing, 2 touchdowns there. Also 8 carries for 102 and another touchdown. Running back Javen Cook, 17 for 101. Rhett Gilliam, 14 for 109 and a touchdown. So, John, 3 people had over 100 yards last week for them. Really impressive out of that backfield for Coach Fountain there. Swindler, he's a weapon outside, along with Clark. Defensively, Brett Young had 11 tackles at TFL. Luke Young had 8 tackles and a sack. Chris Boyd, 11 tackles. Mason Tinsley, 8 tackles for Coach Campbell's bunch there. Barnwell on the other side. Quarterback Cameron Austin, 11 for 18, 125, 3 touchdowns. On the season, 2,000 passing yards, 19 touchdowns, 755 on the ground, 16 more touchdowns. That's 35 on the season. Good season. Great season for Cam there. He's been a big-time player all throughout his career there. Running back Nehemiah Brown, 24 carries for 172 and a touchdown. Receiver Jaquan Peoples, 4 for 71 and a TD. William Robinson, 3 for 34 and 2 touchdowns. Logan Sturkey, he's a key on both sides of the football. Kind of a blocking H-back spot there. Also can catch some passes. He had 415 on the season, receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. But defensively, 60 tackles, 6 sacks for Sturkey there. Defensively, also Jordan Peoples, Damajahe, if I say that wrong, I apologize. DeVoe, and then William Robinson, kicker, punter, Lane Evans as well for the Warhorses there. John, in this game to me feels like two teams that are, this is going to sound super cool, like everybody's probably going to say this, but they are playing their best football right now. Like they've had really tough roads, and they've gotten better and better throughout the playoffs, man. And I can't wait to see this matchup on Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good one. That the 1A game, I think everybody's leaning Abbeville, unless you're from Cross. This game, I think you're going to have. I think it's a little bit of a toss up here, and a little bit of what makes this great. We talk about how good, a lot of people want to talk about how good the upper state is. I don't know. I know Barnwell is really good. I know Clinton's really good.
Yeah.
I don't know how they compare to one another, though. I think, obviously, they're both very good to be where they are, given the road that they've had to take. Both teams have had a tough road to get here. Barnwell, like you said, dominating Manning, a Manning team that we just weren't sure how good they were.
Yeah.
They had a great playoff run, and Barnwell smoked them last week.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by that. You talk about Clinton, they've had one of the toughest schedules from beginning to now through the playoff run as anybody. I don't know, and I say as anybody, maybe the toughest. I can't put my finger on one that's had a tougher one for sure, but they have really had some big time games. And what was the only loss to Woodruff?
Woodruff and Daniel, only two teams to beat them this year. Yep.
That's and that Woodruff game was right down to the wire.
Mm-hmm.
They have really played some good football. And what I think what the difference maker in this game is, I think Clinton has played a couple more really tough, high intensity games. And really, they played a couple games. Yeah, that Daniel Woodruff game. But also that Batesburg-Leesville game, which they won 31-14, another game where they had a really big second half. I think a lot of people, I'm not saying a majority, but a lot of people thought Batesburg-Leesville would win that game.
Mm-hmm.
They were number one in our poll and in the media poll for a majority of the year. Might have been number one in our poll the whole year. I'm not sure. Be by 17.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the definition of answering the bell. And then, your reward for that, you got to play a Fairfield Central team that was, again, we say it a lot, one of the highest teams in the state. They won by 2 scores there as well. I think for the Red Devils, I think there's just too much to stop offensively for them. It's almost like they're playing with house money because they're healthy, which is great. I'm very happy for them to make it to the Weekend of Champions and to be healthy, because that's been a program. We see how much support they have here on our show. So you can't help but to pull for them a little bit, right? And, seeing all the injuries that they've had to battle the last few years, and for things to go right for them this year, it almost seems like almost a team of destiny. But you got to go through Barnwell. And that's it's going to be an awesome, awesome game. I'm not sure if it's going to be high scoring, low scoring. I'm thinking a little more on the higher end, but I think Clinton's got just too many playmakers. Talk about 3 guys getting over 100 yards last week. I think they got too many playmakers. I think that's gonna make the difference Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, some program stats here. Barnwell going for their first state title since 1988. I believe they actually may have gone back to back in 87, 88. I can't remember exactly how that worked out there. And then Clinton, last state title 2009. They've won 8 in their history, but head coach Corey Fountain has won 2 since then when he was at Lamar.
Okay.
So he is no stranger to the big stage. I think he went to 4 in a row with Lamar and won 2 of those there. And for me, John, I think you're right on you hit the nail on the head there. I think both these teams are really good up front. They've both got good lines, big physical lines. So it may come down to who can make one more explosive play. And I think if you look at it, Barnwell, they've played some big physical teams already in playoffs, like a Manning, like a Timberland, two big squads there to help prepare them for this. But on the flip side, Clinton mentioned that tough road they faced. They've also faced some mobile quarterbacks like Cam Austin and Tanner Watkins at Batesburg-Leesville, and also Trooper Floyd at Chester. So they've kind of seen him, his type of player as well, it feels like there. And I think I love both quarterbacks. Richardson, Clinton is an athlete, heck of an athlete there. Cam Austin, heck of a baseball player as well. Just an absolute dog back there at quarterback, man. Gets it done through the air and on the ground. I like both lines. I think both teams are big and physical, but I think Clinton may have a little bit more weaponry outside, a little more speed to bust one or two more big plays to win this game. I mean, it's going to be a great football game. Maybe my favorite one of the weekend here. Two great coaches, Coach Fountain and Coach Smith at Clinton and Barnwell, respectively. There, two guys that have done great work with their programs for sure. And happy to see these two historic programs get back to Orangeburg, man. It's going to be a great matchup in this one. Jerel, who do you like in this matchup, man? I picked Clinton. Don't feel great about it. This might be one of the closer ones of the weekend.
You posed the question, like, who do you like? I like both of these teams. I'm pissed.
If that's the question, who do you like? It's both. Yeah, you're right. Great point. Great point.
I like both of these teams. I'm pissed that this game is being played. We talked about this in the recap show at 2:00 on a Thursday. Don't like that at all, because I think this has the opportunity to be the most competitive matchup of all of the Weekend of Champions. So love both these programs, like what they do. We got so lucky. We saw both of these teams play week 0. Both of them played great games. Just fantastic programs. I think the defenses are pretty similar. I think they're both great, especially the front sevens. Especially you look over at Clinton, you see the young brothers playing linebacker there, and awesome quarterback matchup. I mean, this one's tough. Leaning Clinton, I think they just have a little bit more in the backfield. I mean, we have talked about Javen Cook all year. Whenever we did our playoff performers or whenever we did player of the week nominations, he was always up there. So I like that backfield at Clinton just a little bit more, but this should be a heck of a ball game. Give me Clinton by 3 points. But the comments are going crazy. I know both of these communities are really pumped about this game, and they're going to pack out these stands, even though it is at 2:00 on a Thursday.
And I'm thinking, like you said, John, I think we may see more low scoring this game. Like, could be in the 20s-ish kind of. I feel like, I think both teams are so good. Like I said, in the trenches, they're so good. They're so physical. I don't see a ton of bust coming, I don't think. I don't think they're really light up the scoreboard, but it should be a great ball game. Two great quarterbacks there, no doubt about it. Jerel, what's the chat saying on this one, man? I cannot wait for this 2A matchup. Brandon says, Coach Fountain going for his third state title. Yeah, first one at Clinton, but third overall. Great call there, Brandon. Look forward to seeing you down there. Jamie says horses by 50. Hey, that would put the whole state on notice if they do that, Jamie. I think they have a good chance to win, but 50 points would be quite impressive for sure. Zay says BHP Bears, stand up. Get it out in here in a second, Zay, for sure. Barely says already let students out for the games. Yeah, so a lot of the schools that are playing the early Thursday and Friday games are either going to e-learning or early dismissal, so they can get the kids down there. I know I saw Barnwell and Clinton are doing that, and I believe Summerville is as well. I've not confirmed Dutch Fork, but I know that's at least 3 of the 4 that are doing that to let the fans and kids get out there. Zach said, no, it's going to be tough for the 3 games. And Clinton had 3 beast running backs. Yeah, they've had a tough road, man. No doubt about it. I guess the only positive they got from getting that 1 seed was at the home games, but they had a tough road for sure. Brennan said won all games by 11 points. Tyler says Barnwell will stop the run. If Clinton can pass, they should win, but they can't throw the ball. Then Barnwell takes it. Yeah, and like I said, it's going to be who's more explosive, who can make that explosive play. The one more to kind of win it there, Tyler. I think great point.
And there's a lot of guys to stop from that run, too.
Yeah. BJ says, come see the Radio Broadcast Crew Thursday. Hey, we'll be down there, man. We'll come say hello to you. We'll love to chat with you. That'd be a lot of fun for sure. Zach says, bringing 2 charter buses down to Orangeburg from Clinton. I love that, man. I know it's going to be a great atmosphere there. I think Barnwell's going to travel well. You guys are going to travel well. Going to be a great atmosphere that 2A matchup. Tyler said Barnwell's went to state twice since 19 and lower state once, and last year lost to OCC. Then they get it done this year. Love to hear that from Tyler. Brandon says Clinton's O-line has north-south selection Cal Pitts and Trey Aiken, who will be a Shrine Bowler next year. Very good up front. Yes, they are. A lot of big kids for the Red Devils there. Let's see. Barnwell's got plenty of speed on the outside. Once we guys can get in the box. 1, 2, 3, 5, 9, 0. Plenty of weapons. It's going to be good, man. Who can make one more play? That's what it's come down to. Travis says, what's up, fellas? Good seeing you, Kevin. At Westside, it was cold. Yes, sir. I was freezing, Travis, man, but great to meet you last Friday. Really enjoyed that.
And just want to provide a TV update. I know there was some questions about that. They're going to carry all the games on Sinclair broadcasting stations across the state. So in the upstate, you have it's My 40, those channels. Watch Fox in the Columbia area. It's My TV in Charleston. And then it is the CW21 in the Florence, Myrtle Beach area. So you can catch those games on those Sinclair broadcasting stations.
Perfect. Any other comments from the chat, Jerel, on this 1A or 2A matchup?
Let's go to the next game, guys.
Let's shout out friends of the program first. Then we'll get over to 3A if you're cool with that.
Yes, I am. Let's do it.
A single moment can ignite a passion. With every play, a spirit of teamwork is forged, and determination evolves into success. Life is the ultimate team sport, and a trusted teammate makes all the difference. Our team at Founders Federal Credit Union works hard every day to offer the financial tools you need, backed by unrivaled member service. Relax, you're with Founders.
The George Agency has been serving the insurance needs of South Carolina for over 40 years. They're a full-line insurance agency concentrated in employee benefits and health insurance with an office in Mullins and Murrells Inlet, but they can help you all across the state. They have clients in Greer, Rock Hill, Columbia, and more, so wherever you are, they can help. Give Bradley, Wayne, Richard, and the crew a call or check them out online at thegeorgeagency.net. That's thegeorgeagency.net. One more note as well that I forgot to mention. This year, since I rotate every year, the lower state will be the home teams in these games. So they'll sit on the home sideline. Obviously, doesn't make a whole lot of difference. I guess just uniform colors is about it. But, yeah, lower state are the home teams this year. Exactly right. BJ Barnwell will be the home squad in that one. But let's look now at the 3A state title game. The Belton-Honea Path Bears taking on the Oceanside Collegiate Land Sharks. BHP 13-1 on the season. Oceanside 10-3. This is the 12 o'clock matchup on Saturday afternoon here between these two. BHP, the game you were at last week, John, they took down MVP 30-22, averaging 43 points per game on offense, 15 allowed on defense. Oceanside Collegiate rolled Loris 42-7, averaging 33 points on offense, 18 points per game on defense. John, like you said, we're talking off air. All three of us predicted this title game when we did our season preview show. So we saw something in these two teams, of course. But who do you like in this one, man? You know, two teams that have had, you kind of set the target on their back all year. Like two teams that have been projected to be right there. They make the run, you know, that they shake off all the all the doubters there, and they get to Orangeburg now. And who do you like between the Bears and the Land Sharks?
Yeah, this is tough. You know, I've seen BHP play a couple times this year, and really like that team. They've got a lot of grit. They were in a tough spot early on in that game Friday night against Mountain View over there at Hillcrest. They played hard the whole way through, and they found a way to win there at the end of the game, and did a great job just kind of keeping their cool, you know, not getting too ahead of themselves. And they beat a very good team. They've played really well the last few weeks against really high competition. You know, well, the one knock on BHP this year has been the schedule, right?
Yep.
And last 3 weeks of the playoffs, they played Powdersville, Palmetto, Powdersville, and then Mountain View last week. 3 really good teams. Found a way to win all 3 of those games. They are very good. Obviously, Marquez Henderson, you know, he is a big-time player for them. Got bottled up a lot by Mountain View, which I was surprised by. That was a Mountain View defense we thought was a little suspect, but he still hit some big plays. And you know, the BHP, they stuck with the game plan, and you know, they scored enough to win. Scored 24 on offense, had a defensive touchdown at the end there. But Oceanside, on the other hand, I mean, this is a team that they're always here.
Yeah.
They're always here. You know, different classification. They're in 3A now instead of 2A, but the same story. And they went through the gauntlet of the 2A region, that Dillon-Loris region, knocking off Dillon 28-21, and then crushing Loris last week. You know, I didn't know that anyone in 3A would dominate Loris like that. And that game is in Loris as well. That's a good environment to be in. To me, that is really, really impressive. And because of last week, I got to go with Oceanside in this game. I think they're a more complete football team. BHP made a couple plays, but for the majority of that 48 minutes of that game, they really struggled running the ball. They couldn't find much of a rhythm throwing the ball because they just haven't had to do it much this year. I think they can't just lean on Henderson to win them the game in Orangeburg this week. And I think it's going to be tough for them to figure out a way to win the game without Henderson getting 150, 200 yards. I think Oceanside's just, I think they're going to be well prepared, and I think they've got multiple ways that they can beat you.
Yep. BHP last week, quarterback Noah Thomas, 7 for 11 and a touchdown. Marquez Henderson, 21 carries for 159 and a TD. He'll probably cross 2,000 for the season, I think, in this game. I may have seen some old stats. He may have already crossed 2,000. I don't know, but I know he's right around that 2K number. Also had 4 catches for 64 yards and a touchdown and a fumble recovery TD, like you said there. Receiver Tajay Watson-Martin's electric outside for them. Defensively, Jakari Anderson, 8 tackles and a sack. Justin Lathan, 7 tackles, a TFL. Kelsey Miles, 7 and a TFL. Ty Kelly, 7 tackles. Colby Bates, 2 picks last week for Coach Blackston's bunch. On the Oceanside side, Aiden Manavian, 21 for 28, 327, 5 touchdowns last week. John, huge game for the sophomore gunslinger there. They've got Will Virgilio out wide, also playing some Wildcat there. Terrence Johnson at the running back spot. Peyton Shaw had 2 touchdown catches. Gaspar as well. Defensively, they forced 6 turnovers. That game got out of hand fast. I believe Loris fumbled the opening kickoff. Oceanside fell on it for a touchdown. They got a fumble right after that and scored again, so that game got over pretty quickly there. Cale Gilchrist, Jack Waddy, Kyle Baldwin, Max Mormon, Gavin Welch, Michael Strickler are having big seasons there for Coach Patterson. This is a team, John, that, has really impressed me this year because they could have gone the opposite way. When your head coach, Chad Wilkes, resigns early in the season, that could have really thrown them for a loop. But John Patterson steps in there as the interim head coach. Has done a fantastic job with this bunch. They've got 3 losses. 2 of those are the teams playing this weekend in 5A, Dutch Fork and Irmo. So they have not lost any slouches at all this season. They only lost to a team out of Georgia, a big squad there on the Lynchburg side. So they're a really good football team. BHP, I believe they won their second upper state title last week. They won the state title in 2004. It's been 20 years in the making there for the Bears. Oceanside Collegiate playing for the state title, third year in a row, won 2A state title last year, lost 2 seasons ago. An issue here, John, that you mentioned to us in the chat and something that I thought about too when I was looking at this game is for BHP, you can't turn it over. And Henderson has had a little bit of a fumble issue the last few weeks. And really a season cannot have that in a game like this, man. You got to hold on that football.
Yeah. And we don't talk about the BHP defense. Their defense is really good. I don't want to give Henderson a hard time because on the other side, Friday was big-time prospect Jalen McGill. Yeah. He also had a very hard time finding holes. There was nothing up the middle. They were forcing him outside. And every first down, MVP was getting 2, maybe 3 yards on the ground. And that was probably getting 3 or 4 yards after contact.
Yeah.
To get those 2 to 3 yards. The BHP defense is very good. They're very good up front. They're a big group. They're physical. They are a championship level defense on that side of the football. If they don't turn the ball over, their defense is good enough alone to keep them in the game. And, you hit a couple big plays if you get a couple turnovers yourself. And it's not like – I don't think this is a situation like we see in 1A where Cross has to play a perfect game to beat Abbeville. BHP does not have to play a perfect game to beat Oceanside. They just have to be – they have to be a little more dynamic. I'm surprised that Noah Thompson, right?
Noah Thomas,
7
quarterback.
for 11 last week. It just seemed like it was tough to throw up, push the ball downfield on Friday. But it's possible. They can do it. You can put Henderson out wide, and that's a matchup problem. It's going to be a really good game, and I think we see a relatively low scoring ball game in this game, which, in my opinion, will favor BHP as well. If they can limit to a 20-type game, you can rip off a couple big plays that maybe Oceanside can't.
Yeah, and you mentioned one thing that I thought about too while you're just talking about, John, is Henderson is such a dual threat at running the ball, so catching the ball. When they played Dillon 2 weeks ago, Jamarion Fling had 2 touchdown catches out of the backfield for the Wildcats there. So maybe it's if Henderson can't get it going on the ground, maybe it's out of the backfield, a little swing pass, maybe a wheel route. I don't know, but that could be a key there if they can get him involved in the passing game as well for the Bears there. But I think the key, and I said it last week for Loris, I was like, if you want to win this game, you got to find a way to pressure Aiden Manavian. And the problem is he gets rid of the ball so quickly. I don't know how you do it. But BHP has the guys. Justin Lathan just 2 weeks ago set the school record with 5 sacks in a football game. I think he had another sack last week there. They can get after the quarterback, but it's just you got to have your DBs lock up too, because if you don't, he gets rid of the football so fast, it's hard to pressure him. It is the worry there. I know you got to do that, get off a spot, but I don't know how you do it because of the way that he orchestrates that offense there the Land Sharks. So I'm going Oceanside Collegiate. I like the offense too much. I think the way that this team has rallied around, the stuff going on early in the year, I think they want to go back-to-back, and they've got a lot of playmakers there. They are playing great football right now. I think the Land Sharks win this football game. They go back-to-back in 2A, now in 3A.
I think so, too. I think we see a pretty close game, though, and this should be a really fun matchup. With that BHP defense against such a good quarterback, Monavian, such an exciting, quick, fast-paced offense as well. That'll be a really, really fun matchup.
Going to be great to see. Once again, this is the noon game on Saturday here in 3A. Jerel, what do you like in this matchup? What's the chat saying about it as well?
Yeah, this one's gonna be it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a sweep here. I'm gonna go with the Land Sharks as well. I think they're playing fantastic here. BHP is gonna need a Herculean effort from Quez Henderson, and he's gonna have to probably play both ways in this one too. But I've seen him do it. I mean, he almost beat Daniel in that Upper State Championship game last year by himself. I mean, so he can definitely get it done. Really got my eye on Ty Kelly as well in the back end.
Yep.
And like you mentioned, Justin Lathan, you're going to have to pressure Monavian. This is where we saw this kid break out last year in that game against Gray, and he's just unflappable, and he gets it done. The thing that gives me the most pause about this BHP team in this matchup is they probably haven't seen a passing attack and a quarterback like this since they played Westside, and that game didn't go that well. I'm by no means saying that this Oceanside team's as good as Westside, but Aiden Monavian is a very good player, and he can spin it. He can really get it done. So I'm going with Oceanside. I think they win this by a couple scores, but I think BHP is a fantastic ball club, obviously reaching to this point in the season.
Yeah, and this goes for every game that we're going to talk about. Is you got to have this time of the season, your stars have to make plays. If you win a football game, Henderson's got to have a big game. On the Oceanside side, Monavian, Virgilio got to have big games. So we'll see who can do it, who can check off the, I guess the not starstruckness, I guess, because they've all played in big games, but just who can get going in a state title game and make it happen. There you go. That's the better way to say it, John. Thank you for saving me there, Jerel. What's the chat saying on this 3A matchup? Greg says go BHP. Nathan says all state titles were decided during the last week of the Upper State Championships. Okay.
I don't know about 3A.
Slick says Oceanside's a small college team. Sharks just got too much. Burrell says Oceanside may be the only lower state team to pass. Baby Zeus says from Scotland, North Carolina. Send us out to the Fighting Scots in Laurinburg. Appreciate you for joining in. Appreciate that.
That's all we have on this game, guys.
Let's look now at the 4A state title game, a rematch of last year's, John. The Westside Rams, 13-0, taking on the South Florence Bruins at 11-3. Last year's game was an absolute thriller with the Rams winning 34-32 with a last-minute touchdown pass. We all kind of saw this coming before the season started. We said, hey, a good chance of getting a rematch again. Throughout the season, we kind of thought maybe not, because South Florence had their struggles early on. But Coach Marlowe's bunch is putting together now at the right time. They had a big win over North Augusta, 27-20 last week. They were trailing 20-0 that football game. Came back to win there. Averaging 41 on defense, 23 allowed. 41 on offense, 23 allowed on defense. Quarterback Messiah Jackson had 2 touchdown runs last week. Got a 3-headed monster in the backfield. Zion Gilbert had 85 yards last week. Trey Leonard, 20 for 199 and a touchdown. Jaden Sellers also a touchdown, I believe. They ran for 301 as a team last week. Gilbert and Trey Leonard over 1,000 yards already this season. Receiver, Lennox Valerie. Defensively, the Clemson commit, Amari Adams, 7 tackles, 3 TFLs, and a sack. Terry Gordon, 6 tackles, 2 TFLs. Willie Kennedy, 13 tackles. Cameron Coe, 6 tackles, 3 TFLs, a sack. And Amari Reeves, 3 tackles, a TFL, a sack, and a pick. The Westside Rams have been rolling all season long, John. We talked about it throughout the season, how we were so excited they played such a tough schedule non-region, because we knew that the region was not going to really test them. But they answered every call all throughout the season and now in the playoffs. They rolled South Point last week, 35-14. Game probably wasn't that close. They're averaging 49 points per game on offense, 16 on defense. Cutter Woods, the do-it-all quarterback there, 12 for 20, $164 passing and a touchdown, 37 yards rushing, another touchdown run there. Running back DB Sherrod Richardson had 22 carries for 140 and 2 TDs. Camarius Bowmore had 4 catches for 51 yards. Armani Weaver had 3 for 81 and a TD and a pick 6. Also had 4 tackles and a TFL on that one. Drayson Evans, a weapon for them. Defensively, RJ Livingston had a huge game for them. He had 14 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a sack. Jamison Wilson had 10 tackles as well. And Ross Brown was wreaking havoc up front. What they did to that really high-powered South Point offense is super impressive. You know, the speed they have on the back end with Weaver and Beaumont Richardson, they can lock down a passing attack. And with that, they can commit more guys to the run and put them in the box. And they are just so fast on that back end, man. It's tough for you to attack them as an opposing offense.
Yeah, and I've noticed their linebackers have played really good this year as well. And they're kind of freed up because that secondary's played well, and they're typically playing with the lead.
Yeah.
So they can be pretty aggressive. You know, the improvement that this Westside defense has made as a unit over the last, I'd say 3 years has been really incredible. And they've gone from liability to now a big strength of this team. They scored 28 points on offense last week. That doesn't go. Ooh,
yeah. Wow. I mean, they didn't play their best game. They won by 3 scores. You know?
Their scoring on defense is the problem for everybody else too. Scoring on defense, scoring on special teams. Again, I know I say this at every classification. South Point, hottest team in the classification. I thought South Point was going to win that game. Certainly did not think that they were going to get beat like they did. You know, Westside has been proving me wrong for a couple of years now. I don't think they're going to get beat in this game. I think South Florence is a very big and physical team, and I think they can match up from a physicality standpoint, a size standpoint. But I don't think the South Florence defense is going to be able to make enough stops to keep them in this game. I don't think they're going to be able to score enough. I don't think they're going to be able to be two-dimensional enough to win this game against Westside. I think Westside wins this one. I think they win. They probably win by 2 or 3 scores, much like they've done all year this year. I think, and I know Nathan said this earlier, I think the state championship for this game was last week, as good as South Point's been playing and as much talent as they have. And South Florida's got a ton of talent too. And not to be saying that they don't, because they certainly do. But I think Westside. If South Point was playing South Florence, I'd pick South Point. And Westside, they destroyed them. I got to go Rams on this one. Yeah,
and Westside, they've scored 30 or more every game this season, John. I mean, they just light it up on offense, and now they've got a defense to match. South Florence, a couple historical notes here. The Bruins' third straight trip to state. They won it all. 2022, lost last season, of course, to Westside there. The Rams going for back-to-back state titles. They've won 27 games in a row. And what's funny, I thought it was the same number, but it wasn't. They broke the Bruins' 29-game winning streak last year in the state title matchup. So really cool to see there. The one chance, and these are they want to play different styles, I feel like, because obviously Westside, with all the weapons they've got, man, they don't mind airing and out. They don't mind scoring quickly. South Florence is more of a grinded out, physical, run the football type of team. And they've got the backs to do it with Leonard and Gilbert and, Jackson running the ball as well, along with Sellers, who's a difference maker too, the South Carolina commit, who wasn't there in the game last year due to an injury. Don't forget that he did not play in that one. So I think you're South Florence, you got to try to get an early lead. You got to try to milk that clock. Because if you fall behind the Westside, you're not going to catch up. I mean, they're just too explosive. They're just too explosive. Now, I will say, Westside last week, I know the game was clearly in hand. That they won by a lot of points. Mason Pickett-Hicks did cross the 200-yard rushing mark. So just eye on that. But they also held Cam McMillan to 8 for 28 passing. So they were locking them down no matter what. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think you're right. I think it's Westside in this football game. You look at the two teams that South Florence played that like to throw the ball, Northwestern, Summerville. 2 great quarterbacks, Finley Polk, Jaden Cummings, 2 teams that are still playing. Gave up 48 to the Trojans, 46 to the Green Wave. And Westside is just as good at throwing the football as those teams are, just as explosive on offense. And I know Coach Marlowe's bunch has improved a lot from early in the season. They're starting to play better football, more lockdown football there. But I don't think they've improved enough to hold Westside under 30, which is probably what you're going to need to do to win this football game.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I don't think they hold Westside to under 31, and I don't think they've got the offense to score 31 against Westside. I'm hoping for a great game. I hope it's 34-31 and gets decided at the last second. I hope it's an awesome ball game, but I just don't know that that's going to happen in this one. Westside's that doggone good.
Yeah, I'm going Westside as well, man. I think they win this football game. it's hard to pick against them. I mean, they're just rolling right now. Jerel, what do you like in this matchup? Who do you like in this 4A state title game? This is the 7:30 Friday matchup here at Westside and South Florence as well.
Hey, sign me up 3 for 3. Going Westside. Eat my crow from last week. I had South Point winning that game too, John.
You guys get me yelled at after the game. I love that. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, so it's good to know that the players are watching. I hope they're watching this week because I'm picking Westside to win this game. So here you go, fans of Westside, you Rams. I apologize. Told myself at the beginning of last year I wasn't going to pick against Westside this year, and I was stupid and did so. Not picking against them this one, though. They're just rolling, man. Who thought last year you lose Josh Williams and Jamar Boston and you get better? But you get Armani Weaver and Kamarius Bomar, in addition to the guys who have been performing, Sherrod Richardson. We all know the names by now. Westside is destined to do it. They're going to win 28 in a row. They're going to go back to back. South Florence, so I want to give a tip of the hat. You mentioned how the run that they're on, they probably would have won it in 21 or at least been in the mix if Lenore Sellers doesn't break his collarbone that year too. So Coach Marlowe and his team, when they lost to Hartsville, we'd kind of left them for dead a little bit, but they really put it together, made another trip to Orangeburg. But the Rams, they're just destined to get it done, and I'm picking them to win this game.
Yeah, what's the chat saying on this one? I know we have a lot of Westside fans typically in here, so what are they thinking about this 4A matchup here, Jerel? Westside by 5 touchdowns, says Timothy. Whoa. Man, Westside outscoring their opponents 188-30 in the playoffs, says Roquette. Yeah, they are rolling right now. Ross Brown, he was really impressed. He may have been the most impressive defensive guy I saw last week. What he was doing up front for the Rams was super, super awesome to see. David Antoni said, Westside made it really cold last week. Westside at least 10 too many weapons, a better quarterback. Yeah, great to meet you last week, David. Appreciate you. Good to say hello to you there. And you're right, man. Once the game got out of hand, it got really cold really fast. Deere says that Abbeville defense showed out. They certainly did, man. He calls it, I think it was 6 turnovers, I said. 5 turnovers, a huge game for them there. Official Tyler says when we play, like when they play Summerville 42-21 Westside. Frederick says the South Florence running backs did not play against Summerville or Northwestern. And I think, honestly, the key is not the offense for this. It's defensively. I think it's really the key in that one there. Barely said Westside might could take out the 5A teams. They give them a heck of a run for their money, that's for sure.
There would be a lot of them.
Deary says Westside's the best team in SC.
And that's all the comments we got so far for this one.
Perfect. Let's shout out some friends of the program before we look to get the 2 5A matchups.
Preferred Home Services. How can we make you smile today? Preferred Home Services. For electrical or plumbing, cooling too. Go, 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 Preferred.
With 3 convenient locations in Spartanburg, Duncan, and Greenville, Carolina Orthopedic and Neurosurgical Associates, CONA, offers the most advanced training and experience in orthopedic surgery, neurosurgery, sports medicine, and pain management in the upstate. Go to CONA.care to learn more.
Looking for top-notch sports gear and uniforms? Look no further than First Team Sports. With 30 years of serving the Carolinas, First Team Sports is your local full-service dealer. From youth teams to colleges, we've got you covered with team uniforms, staff apparel, Letterman jackets, sports equipment, and facility branding. Visit our local store in Greenville or firstteamsc.com. Make First Team your first choice. And now for the first time, John, we've got 2 5A state champions this year. In the first game, 5A Division II will be the nightcap, the finale of the weekend. This is 6 o'clock on Saturday. Northwestern, the Trojans at 13-0, head coach Paige Walford taking on the Irmo Yellow Jackets at 13-1, head coach Aaron Brand. Northwestern, big win over Gaffney, 58-40 last week, averaging 50 points per game on offense, 16 points per game on defense. Irmo, a squeaker, 29-25 over White Knoll, a red-hot White Knoll team that was there, averaging 38 points per game on offense, 16 allowed on defense. John, this is a big-time matchup here, man. Playmakers all over the field. I mean, we could see some awesome offensive play, especially in this game.
Yeah, I think this is one of the games, if you want to pick one game to go to and go, hey, I want the best chance to see a lot of points, this is the game.
Yeah.
This is the one because you got 2 really good quarterbacks.
Yes.
AJ Brand over Irmo, Finley Polk in his 12th year now playing at Northwestern. Really good players. Donovan Burf over at Irmo as well, of course. Big time name, a lot of buzz around him right now with recruiting as well.
Committed on January 2nd at the Under Armour game, I believe, actually.
Okay, very cool. Very exciting. This will be a really fun game. I'm a little worried about Irma. White Knoll's been playing great. I didn't think the game was going to be that close. I thought Irmo was going to be able to put up a little bit better of an offensive performance. But hey, the main point matters. Did you win the game?
Yes.
They won the game. That's all that matters at the end of the day. And this is a few weeks ago, this is one of the matchups that I was really, really hoping we get to see at Orangeburg. This is going to be a really fun game. Two well-deserved programs. I hope we see a ton of points. I hope it's in the 50s or 40s, and I think it could be. Northwestern, though, boy, they are. I think they got a little bit of revenge on their mind after losing that game to Greenville last year. We thought they were going to be in the state championship last year as well at the 4A level. Did not get there, of course. So a little bit of revenge, I think, for the Trojans. I think they got a little bit of that chip on their shoulder from last year not making it. Irmo, obviously, they got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, right? You're in Irmo, and everybody talks about Dutch Fork all the time, right?
Yeah.
Here's your chance to take claim, get a title of your own here. Very, very proud program as well. Both of these programs. I can't wait for this game. This is going to be awesome. I hope it's a super close game. I just think there's a little bit more on that Irmo or that Northwestern offensive side for Irmo to be able to stop.
Quarterback Finley Polk for the Trojans last week, John. 24 for 41, 339 passing, 5 touchdowns, 17 rushes for 94 yards and a touchdown. Listen to these season stats. 70% completion rate, 3,284 passing yards, 42 touchdowns, only 6 picks. Also, 437 on the ground, 14 more touchdowns. That's 56 touchdowns on the season there for Finley Polk. Running back Zymir Gordon-Miles, he's a sophomore, name to remember, a kid that is moving to running back this year, has really come on strong lately. 17 carries for 133 and a touchdown. Maybe the best receiving core in the state with Cam Vance, 9 for 168, 2 touchdowns last week. Jaden Nichols, 7 for 86. Daniel Caldwell, 5 for 41. And Daniel Caldwell, 2 touchdowns as well. And Tadarian Knox for the touchdown for them in the Trojans there. Defensively, defensive line, Mason Greer, 5 tackles, a TFL, a sack, and a pick last week. Andre Pickett's a big body up front as well. Tamarian Watkins on the back end, 8 tackles, a TFL. Will Massey, 6 tackles. Irmo, quarterback AJ Brand. Everybody knows the name now. The Gatorade Player of the Year got announced, I think, on Friday. Congrats to AJ. He's been a lot of fun to watch last week. Didn't throw it a ton. 7 for 9, 91 yards and a touchdown. Ran it a ton. 22 carries for 214, 3 TDs. His season stats, John, 72% completion rate, 24-49 passing, 28 TDs, 6 picks, 1,861 rushing yards, 25 more touchdowns on the ground there, 53 total on the season. Running back Amir White has been a good piece for them. Receivers, you mentioned Donovan Murphy. He's got 1,200 yards on the season, 10 touchdowns, along with Malik Miller there. Defensively, Jaden Bryant had 5 tackles. Darius Goodson, 5 tackles. Brandon Goldsboro, Taylor, Grissett, Gamble, and Blocker are also big players for Coach Brandt on that defensive side. A couple historical notes here. Northwestern, this is their second state title appearance in 3 seasons. Remember, they lost that South Florence team 2 years ago.
That's right.
Did not make it last year. Got upset there and are back this season. Irmo going for their first state title since 1980. Been a long time there for the Yellow Jackets. Coach Brand promised to get them back there when he took the job, and they are here now, John. But this is going to be a fantastic football game. It's hard to find holes in either one of these teams, really.
Yeah, both play really good defense. Obviously there's a ton of fanfare around both offenses, but Irmo plays really good defense. We saw him play Dutch Fork earlier this year, and Dutch Fork had a hard time getting a whole lot going against them offensively. Really good defense there. Northwestern, defense didn't play great last week.
That's true. They gave up over 400 yards passing to Javon Gilmore and Gaffney. Obviously, Gaffney was slinging it around because they had to, because, Northwestern scores 58. But still, that does worry you a little bit.
Yeah. Irmo definitely has a better defense in this matchup here. Just a super exciting matchup. And I think 1980, if that's the last time Irmo won a state championship, that might have been the Rodney Williams team at Irmo. And Rodney Williams then later played had a great career playing quarterback at Clemson. I think that would have been Rodney Williams' time. I know I saw Irmo play in a state championship early 2000s. I want to say maybe the 2003, 2002 range against a Rock Hill team. Mm-hmm. Trey Rogers on the team there for Irmo. I think Co Simpson was on that Rock Hill team. Really, really good athletes on both sides of the football. in that matchup. That was a really fun game there. Obviously, Rock Hill won that one. Good to see Irmo back in the Weekend of Champions, though. It's fun when teams like this are playing each other.
Yeah, two teams that, similar to a lot of these games, John, that we thought would be right here and have a good chance to make it to this level. And they have been playing great football all season long. Northwestern, they've won 9 games by 29 points or more. I mean, that's just unreal what they're doing there. Last week, 18-point spread was probably maybe their second closest one of the season. Yeah. So, I mean, which is wild to say. And for me, really, I've got 2 things written down here, and it circles, and they both focus on the quarterback play. It's one for me, the Northwestern side. Finley Polk, we've been high on him for 3 years now. A lot of people in the state probably overlook him a little bit. Maybe this is his chance to really shine, have a breakout game, kind of put his stamp on a career here with a state title and show everybody that he is a legit big-time playmaker. But on the flip side, this is A.J. Brand's chance to cement his legacy. I mean, people are going to remember him forever because he's been a heck of a player. But if you go out with a state title that last season, man, and have a heck of a game to win it, that is something that, it will be legendary and talked about for years. So, be a great matchup. And I will say, it just feels like it's Northwestern's time. 3 years ago, they lose an overtime heartbreaker to Gaffney in the 5A ranks there late in the playoffs. 2 years ago, they get run to the buzzsaw that is Lenore Sellers and South Florence in that game. Last year, they're everybody's favorite, and they get beat by Greenville on the way to the game there. I think Coach Walford and those boys, I think they get it done here. But I think this is a high-scoring game, some points in this one, a great quarterback matchup here. But I think Northwestern wins this one in 5A Division II.
I think so, too. I think we see a competitive, one-score probably ball game, though. I think this is going to be a really, really tight ball game. But, yeah, I'm leaning Northwestern as well.
Jerel, what do you like in this one? This might be my favorite game of the weekend.
Yeah, I said 2A is probably going to be the most competitive game, but I think this is going to be the most fun game. I think it's going to be an absolute track meet here. I've been leaning Northwestern all season and thinking they were going to win this. But then, when I started actually breaking it down, I feel like I'm picking Northwestern based off of vibes and not for football reasons. I think Irmo has the better defense here, and I think that they can score as much as Northwestern too. You mentioned the 2 quarterbacks, A.J. Brand, Finley Polk. I mean, they gave up 40 points, over 400 yards passing last week to Gaffney with Northwestern. I mean, there's nearly 100 points scored in that game. I think this Irmo defense is a little bit better. I'm going to go with them in a high score. I'm 45-42 type game. I think Irmo's going to get it done. I think A.J. Brand's going to get it done. I mean, we've read the stats all year. 6 touchdown performances, 7 touchdown, 8 touchdown performance. And while I love, Northwestern, Coach Wofford in that bunch, Finley Polk, all those guys, I think Irmo, I think it's going to be their time. I'm going to pick them. And I get to pick against you guys. That makes it even more fun.
I do think, I think we are sleeping a little bit on that Northwestern defense just because of one bad performance. They've allowed 16 on the season. I mean, they've played really good football. They held South Point to 14 early on in the year. I mean, that they have, held Rock Hill with that explosive offense down. So it's not like they're a bad defense at all. Held a good Greenwood team to 6 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, man. So they've got a lot of playmakers. I love the defensive line with Greer and Pickett especially. They're a great football team. We'll be a great game. What's the chat saying on this 5A Division II matchup, Jerel? Coach Wright says, Big Irmo, don't bet against A.J. Brand in that D. I mean, it's hard to. These are 2 of my favorite quarterbacks in the state this week with Polk and Brand, man. 2 guys that have gotten it done for a long time. Nelson says Northwestern's on fire right now. Chris says he threw 2 last week. That's, I'm assuming, picks.
Finley,
I'm not sure.
Finley Polk.
Finley, yeah. How about them Bears, says Smitty. Hey, they are in the state title. Smitty, going to be a lot of fun to watch them on Saturday. Gerardney says, Low Country, Summerville, Oceanside, and Cross, let's go. It'll be fun to check those guys out. Justin said he's going Northwestern 42-28. Timothy says he's picking Abbeville, Clinton, Oceanside, Westside, Northwestern, and Dutch Fork. David Antoni says father and son duo Irmo by 4. I like that. Brian says Big Irmo. And they've been there all year, man. Had a great season last year. Was knocking on the doorstep last season. Got there this year. Have a chance to win that ring.
Let's put a bow on this one and talk about the last one, guys.
5A Division I now, John. 2 of the winningest programs in the history of the state, I would say here. Dutch Fork, 12-0. Summerville 13-0, a heavyweight matchup here. This is the 2 o'clock on Friday game here. Dutch Fork rolled Spartanburg 24-0, 40 points per game on offense, 6 allowed on defense. Quarterback Ethan Offing, 15 for 21, 267, 2 touchdowns. Also ran for 93 yards and another touchdown. Running back Maurice Anderson has over 1,000 yards on the season. Also a really good receiver out of the backfield as well. Boykin Bickley, 4 for 164 and a touchdown. KJ Smith, 5 for 34 and a TD on offense. Summerville, big win over Sumter. Maybe the most surprising scoreline of the week, the way they handled the Gamecocks last week. They beat them 35-6, averaging 44 points per game on offense, 19 on defense. Jaden Cummings, 8 for 15, 103 and 2 touchdowns, also a rush touchdown. For the season, 2,300 pass yards, 30 touchdowns, 1 pick, 500 rush yards, 14 more TDs there for Cummings. Running back, the sophomore Javen Williams, 20 for 163, 2 touchdowns, has 160 or more in 3 straight games. The landlord, Jaden Kelly Murray, had a touchdown catch along with Kamori DeWeese. They've rushed for 191 or more in 12 straight games. 2 offenses that are playing good football right now, John, clicking on all cylinders here. Should be a fantastic football game.
Yeah, and I would have gone Dutch Fork and wouldn't have really thought twice about it until last week. And, Sumter is a team that has been really good this year. I think for one of the top teams in the state, a little bit under the radar, really. Mm-hmm. And Summerville demolished them. I did not see them shutting down Sumter like they did, because I thought Summerville's got a great offense, but they can be a little vulnerable defensively. Not last Friday, they weren't. That showed me a lot from this Green Wave team. Hey, you step up, play really good defense in a big moment, playing for that lower state championship game. I think this is going to be maybe surprising, maybe not to some people, but I think it's going to be closer than what a lot of people are thinking this game's going to be. I think everybody's going to say Dutch Fork. And I think Dutch Fork does ultimately win this game, but I think we're going to see a really good game, because what I love about this is you got a really good offense in Summerville and a really good defense in Dutch Fork. And while I think that Dutch Fork defense is, and that's why I'm picking Dutch Fork, I think the Dutch Fork defense is a little bit better than I think they're a good bit better, actually, what Summerville's offense is. But Dutch Fork's not going to, I don't think they're going to light up the scoreboard against Summerville either. They're just not built to put up a bunch of points. So I think for that reason, I think Summerville has got a chance to score points and keep this a really good game. I think we could see a 31-24 type game, 31-21 type game, more points than maybe a lot of people will expect. But I think Dutch Fork ultimately wins this game. I think Summerville's got the offense, though, to test them a little bit. I think this will be really fun. Silver Foxes, though, can't go against them.
You mentioned that Dutch Fork defense over Coach Braswell and Coach Knotts. Defensively, Josh Smith, the South Carolina commit, the Super 75 guy, had 10 tackles, 3 TFLs, and a sack last week. Julian Walker, 5 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a sack. Riley Salter is probably one of the more underrated players on the defensive side of the football in the whole state. He's a stud, just a junior there, 4 tackles, a TFL. Defensive back Elgin Sessions, the Georgia Tech commit, as well as a stud on the back end there. And a key for them as well, Justin Welch has made a lot of big kicks in his career. They won a game last year. JL Mann, last second field goal. He's made a lot of big-time kicks. If it comes down to that, he'll be ready. They've got 6 shutouts in the season, have not allowed more than 14 points in a game.
That's incredible.
Have not allowed over 14 points in a game, John.
Including that high-power Irmo offense.
Very cool to see there. On the Summerville side on defense, their front 7, I mentioned it last week, is really, really good. Jacaden Pendergrass had a pick and a fumble recovery. Jaden Waring, Yasser Smith, Ryan White, Tyree Patton, Jaquez Walker. They held a strong Sumter rushing attack to 136 last week and 197 total yards. I mean, that was a great performance against a strong Gamecock team there. Historic notes, program notes here. Dutch Fork going for 3 state titles in a row in 8 out of 9. Summerville, first state title appearance since 2007. Their last win was 1998. They have 12 in total. So 2 programs with a lot of state title victories going at it this Friday night or Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock here. But it's just so hard. Like you said, I think Summerville is the best team Dutch Fork has played. And I think they've got a really good offense. I think they could score more than 14. We'll see.
Maybe 21. If they score 21, they've done more than anyone else.
But I think they got a great defense as well. But I think Dutch Fork, the way that offense has really come along, offense has gotten better and better and better. Anderson's been a great player for them. Bickley is a huge threat out wide, and then Smith just being kind of the slot quicker guy there has been a big piece for them. I think Dutch Fork wins this game. I think it's competitive. I think it's maybe like 28-17. I don't know, but I think this is a fun ball game here. I like Dutch Fork to make it 3 in a row, but I'm super excited to see Summerville getting back to this level. Coach Rafferty, what he's done there since he took over has been fantastic. This is a proud, historic program that had kind of fallen on hard times, man. Had not made any deep runs in quite a while. Coach Rafferty comes in, takes them back to, I think lower state final last year, state final this year. Really great to see what the Green Wave have got going on, but I like Dutch Fork. Too much firepower, too much, D-lock defense there for the Silver Foxes.
Yeah, I think so. And this is another game though. If you want to see a really good a really good defense and a really good offense, this is gonna be a great game to see. That Dutch Fork defense is something special. It looks like you're watching a college defense play football. It's really impressive.
Yes, Jerel, what do you like in this one, man? I'm a little worried. We've all kind of gone the same way, except for one matchup so far. I'm a little worried about this weekend now.
Well, don't expect any difference because no one's going to get me on tape picking against Tommy Knotts. That's just not going to happen. But this one's fun, man. You got the blue blood versus the new blood here. I mean, this is a lot of history going into this one. Summerville, for me, I started covering high school football in the state in 2021. This is the first team I saw. They played Gaffney in like a COVID kind of deal last minute, and they couldn't have looked more bad, like worse. Like they were not good at all. And here they are, fast forward 3 years, playing for a state championship undefeated. So, like you said, Coach Rafferty's done a great job with his Green Wave program. They are clicking on all cylinders. That game last week gave me a lot of pause when thinking about this one, too. I mean, a Gamecock hasn't beat that bad since Chad Jasmine was wearing the orange and purple for Tommy Bowden. I mean, that was an awesome performance by the Green Wave there. Love that we're able to do this. But like I said, not picking against Tommy Knotts. Dutch Fork, that defense has just been too good. I mean, historically, he just does not lose in the state championship game. And he doesn't really lose in the playoffs at all. Doesn't lose, period. So that's the determining factor there. But I'm so impressed with the Summerville program and the strides that they've made so far this year.
Yes. What is the chat saying about this 5A Division I game? Once again, the 2:00 game on Friday afternoon. Justin says, in his opinion, Summerville's the best team in the state this year. Interesting. Jeffrey says, after the beating of Summerville in 1980, can't pull for Irmo, who was stuck in that mess. Brandon says he'll take Dutch Fork. Tom Knott gets another state title. Dutch Fork and Westside don't see them beating either one of those teams.
Be cool to see those two teams play.
Nelson said Dutch Fork is so fundamentally sound, best in the state. It's crazy. Dutch Fork, too, they're good every year. But I think this year they weren't really sure what to make of it. I think they knew next year would be really good. You have to be really good. This year was kind of maybe a worry spot. But here we are again, playing for the state title, man.
And it feels like this is the first year in some time that Dutch Fork hasn't had a enormous playmaker on offense.
Yeah.
This year, all the playmakers are on defense, and man, they show it. They are really good.
Slick says Sumter was completely shut down. Finally threw a pass first time for a touchdown, second half, too late to come back. Yeah, we were checking that score, and I was like, this game's over already. Like, they were so far behind, couldn't do anything offensively. David says Dutch Fork's best team Summerville has played. Summerville not the toughest team Dutch Fork has played. Dutch Fork 35-17-ish.
Could be true.
Brandon says he remembers Tom Knotts and Bobby Bentley didn't like each other after the 2013 Burns Dutch Fork game. Bentley wouldn't shake Knott's hand. I'll say this.
I didn't know that.
A lot of folks don't like Bobby Bentley. I'll say that right now. Not saying me, but a lot of folks don't. Ryan would like to see Dutch Fork Northwestern. We actually saw them in a jamboree. The Trojans won that game by a point. But that was way back in August. Jamboree doesn't matter for this. But we did see it for a half, I guess, at least. But would be fun to see. Jeffrey says he likes Coach Raff, good coach. How can you pick against Knotts? Exactly, man. It's like betting against Saban, when he was at Alabama. Brad said, love to see the Green Wave make it, but it's hard to pick against Knotts. Yep, I think everybody's kind of leaning that way.
Great to see Summerville back in this game.
Yep, that's the sentiment here, and that's the end of the comments for this one.
So I want to throw out one more fun stat for you, Kevin. You mentioned Dutch Fork going for their 8th state championship.
8 out of 9. I'm not sure how many total it is. I know it's 8 out of 9.
Well, the school was started in 1992.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes them 32 years old. 8 championships.
I think they may have more than that. I don't know.
So they're
at least 8. Yeah.
They're winning a state championship at least 25%, at least once every 4 years on average.
It must be nice.
Pretty good clip.
Must be nice. Let's see if I can look this up right quick. Jerel actually.
I think they have another one in like 2012 around there, like around the time when he first got started.
Okay.
I had a list earlier. Most state champions. Dutch Fork they have 8. They have 8. Yes.
So they're going for 9 overall. So yeah, you're right, Jerel. So over 25% clip if they win this weekend.
Love that. Well, Jerel, let's shout out some friends of the program, and then we'll come back with a couple more things here.
At HTC, we're here to keep you connected. Here to provide reliable fiber optic internet with free, fast, and secure HTC Smart Wi-Fi. HTC, here to connect.
Facing unexpected expenses and need a quick play? A personal loan from Founders Federal Credit Union can help you cover costs and get back in the game. With competitive rates and flexible terms, a personal loan from Founders is the winning play. Whether it's for a big purchase or an emergency, we've got you covered. Visit foundersfcu.com/personal to get started. Terms and conditions apply. Membership qualification required.
It is the last week of our playoff pick'em brought to you by Hannah Engineering. Jerel put some round 4 scores up there. Had a couple perfect scores, I believe. Yeah, had 4 11s, which was awesome to see from Dale, Dexter, JD, and Ryan. John 7, me with 8, Jerel with 9. Lots of 10s as well last week. I don't know what we did wrong, guys. I thought we had a good look at it, but apparently some folks did a little bit better. But then our overall leaders so far, Ryan and Jeffrey tie with 37. Coming down on the wire here, lots of folks still with a chance. Jerel and I with 31, John with 29. Our tiebreaker, guys, is the highest score in this state title round. If that's still a tie, I'll go back to round 4, round 3, round 2, whatever. But once again, appreciate our friends at Hannah Engineering for doing that for us. We'll do it again next year, guys. And if you own a small business and you want to donate some prizes, love to have it. We'd love to go out a prize each week if we could. But right now, we just do end of the season, end of the playoffs contest prizes. But love to have you have more stuff if we could get that going on. But it'll be a lot of fun to see how that shakes out this week. Shout out our teams of the week, the Westside Rams, Summerville Green Wave, and the Cross Trojans, brought to you by Preferred Home Services. Our playoff performers insured by the Georgia Agency. Guys, check out the blog on our website, on our social pages. Lots of great stats from last week's games. As always, send us those on social media. If you send us a stat line, we'll read it on the recap show. We'll put it in the blog. We want to give these guys some love when they show out and have big performances. So make sure you send us over that stuff this week. Going to be a fantastic weekend of champions here. Once again, to look back through the schedule, the 1A game, Abbeville Cross, will be at 7:30 on Thursday. The 2A game, Clinton Barnwell, 2 o'clock on Thursday. The 3A matchup, BHP and Oceanside Collegiate, will be 12 noon on Saturday. The 4A game, Westside South Florence, 7:30 on Friday night. 5A Division 1 is 2 o'clock on Friday. That's Dutch Fork and Summerville. And then 5A Division 2 is Northwestern Irmo, 6 p.m. on Saturday. All games down at Oliver Dawson Stadium at the campus of South Carolina State University. Jerel, any other comments from you or the chat? Man, I'm looking forward to what should be a fantastic weekend of football games. Going for 9, says Riverside. Yeah, so 9. Yep, they've got 8 so far currently. The Silver Foxes do. Jeffrey missed Ville and Sumter. That was a surprising one there for sure.
Yeah, no, my final comment, just thank everybody this year for tuning into these preview shows, man. I've had so much fun with it. I know you guys have as well, picking these games, and love the interaction that we've been able to get on the sidelines, some good, some bad, because, we make dumb picks from time to time, but it's all in good fun. So don't ever take it personal. If we pick against your team, we love all the teams. We don't root for anybody in particular. So just had a lot of fun in preview. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, though. We had record numbers of viewers this year, and work really hard on this stuff and try to provide the best coverage. And you guys have reciprocated with so much interest and support. And so I just want to say thanks for that.
For sure. And if you guys, tuned in late, if you missed part of the show, obviously we'll put the timestamps in. You go back and listen to those breakdowns, those games early on in the show. Check it out, and please do that. Like we mentioned earlier, we'll do a live kind of season recap next Tuesday. We'll kind of go through this weekend's games along with maybe some of our games of the year, favorite teams to see play or whatever it is. So if you guys have some segment suggestions, send us those in. Love to talk about them on the show. I think last year we did, biggest upset or favorite team or favorite player, some stuff like that. So
it was fun.
We'll work on some stuff like that. But guys, be sure to follow us on Facebook, on Twitter /X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Movin Chains, MOVINCHANS, movinchains.com. Podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. We'll have lots of great content this week. We have our games of the week, our play performers. We'll have food review Friday. We'll have lots of interviews from South Carolina State. We'll be down on the field after the game, getting coaches, getting players. So you want to see that on all our platforms. So be sure to follow us on all of those, please. We mentioned YouTube a lot because that's one that's really growing. We had an issue a few weeks back. The stream cut out for Facebook. You had to go to YouTube. So hopefully you lock in on all those so you don't miss us if there is an issue. But get your Movin The Chains merch as well. Some great Richardson hats here, a gray front, gray black back and black back. Also a black front one up here we have as well. Some great T-shirts. I'm wearing one right now, navy blue. We've got a black one, a gray one, and a pink one as well. Order yours now. You will get it in time for Christmas. So make sure you order that for the Movin The Chains fan in your life. Some great toboggans, a black one, a gray one. Maybe your significant other or your parents are like, what should I get you for Christmas? Movin The Chains merch. Send them a link to us, man. We'll order it up. We'll get it set up. Some great hoodies, kind of the gray hoodie here, a logo back, logo front, also an ash kind of stone white one as well. You can message mtcgear.sc@gmail.com, or you can message us on any social media as well to place your order. Love to have you guys repping our gear, man. It's really cool to get to meet all you guys across the state. I had a great time last week at Westside with Coach Pearson and Coach West, Coach Richardson, and Coach Lane, and talking to Cutter Woods. And we saw met Travis at the game. And then, a lot of great Westside and South Point fans. David and Tony, got to meet him as well. So really cool to meet you guys out, at football games and talk ball, because we're just like you guys. We love high school football, and we love talking about it. So come to say hello to us. And I know, John, you had a great time. You said you got to meet a lot of folks too from BHP and MVP at that game as well.
We were long line at Arby's. Got to hang out a little bit. Got to see a great game. Got to see some folks after the game too. It was a good time. Yeah,
so definitely let us know. If you see us, yell at us. Love to come talk ball with you. Also have some merch in the trunk of the car if you want to do that down there in Orangeburg too. But man, going to be fantastic. John, any final thoughts? Jerel, any final thoughts as we roll into the weekend of champions?
Looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a good time, and always so much fun to see these kids celebrate. Such a huge accomplishment. Seeing them celebrate a state championship, and students as well, students and parents in the stands. It's no matter who wins this weekend, it's really, really fun to see that joy and all that hard work come to fruition.
Jerel, anything final from you here as we wrap up?
Man, can't believe it's over, but just congratulations to the 12 teams that have made it to Orangeburg, man. What an accomplishment. You've already won a championship. Now you have the opportunity to go win a state championship. So enjoy the moment. I mean, it's so awesome for not only those kids, but the coaches, the fans, and the communities too. So soak it up, and I wish you guys the best, and everybody stay healthy and travel if you can. I told you to go hit those gates up when you were getting at those last games, but go to Orangeburg if you can and support these guys who made it this far.
Great point. Yeah, if your team is playing, don't watch it on TV. Go down there and go check them out, man. It's it's a solid stadium. Parking's easy enough, so get down there and go to a ball game. It should be a lot of fun. Like I said, we're going to be down there all weekend. At least one of us will be at every game. I feel like we'll kind of move around some, but come say hello to us. Love to meet you down there, but should be a lot of fun. Movin The Chains is always brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. For Jerel, Hendricks, and John Epps, I'm Kevin Thomas. This has been our state championship preview show for South Carolina football, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.